What's going on, ladies and gentlemen? DoctorDDub here, and welcome back to another FarmFolks video. Man, it's been a while. And that's because the last time we heard anything official from the developers, prior to the most recent news that we'll be covering today, was September 26th, more than a month and a half ago. So much for those weekly dev vlogs, am I right? Oh, I kid. Sort of. Anyways, a lot has happened in the last week, and today I plan to cover both the official news as well as a bit of unofficial news as well. This is going to be a very long video. You've been warned. I want to start by reading the entire post that was posted to Discord today by Mitch, one of the remaining Overgrown devs, and we'll get to that later on, followed by my thoughts on the matter, and then a bit of unofficial news to cap it all off. If you've already heard this news, get bored easily, or are feeling sleepy and think you might doze off to the sound of a 7-minute monologue by yours truly, feel free to skip ahead to the timestamp on screen for my dissection of the post, followed by the unofficial news. Without further ado though, let's begin. Hello everyone. A lot has gone down recently, to say the least. We think it's about time we provide a comprehensive update as to what's going on with FarmFolks moving forward. Also, what we're going to do to fix our various mistakes and pitfalls. As many of you know, we have been silent recently and fallen behind in development to the point of having to miss our roadmap goals. There are many issues that cause this, and we think it is in everyone's best interest to be open about it. So, let's discuss what we did wrong first off. When working in a team, it's important that everyone is on the same page, even if there are differing opinions regarding some aspects of development. What ended up happening with us is a rift of differing design philosophies that caused pretty much everyone to lose morale and a sense of purpose in the project, fundamentally leading to a lack of direction and a game that started to get way too complex in the design documentation, the underlying code, and art requirements. More complexity leads to exponentially more problems, with not only the game design, but also in managing bugs while trying to have everything work together. Even worse is that it could lead to arbitrary game design limitations because of bugs that may exist in Unreal Engine 4 or meeting our system requirement goal. If you thought that was bad, it ultimately ends in the conclusion of inflexible game design that cannot be easily iterated and modified. If you modify something, everything breaks, and that's not good. All of us, more or less, hid from the issues at hand, and the Discord went completely dark. Much like what the future of FarmFolks felt like. As we launched the demo, we started to get a lot of feedback from you guys, and it was extremely inspiring for us, but at the same time, overwhelming. We wanted to release as much as possible of the new content and provide you guys with new, exciting stuff, and we completely overlooked the simple mechanics and derailed from our roadmap. We expanded the play area and added quests, etc., before we even completed the farming mechanics. We hope that as far as problems are concerned, this helps answer many of the questions as to why we always missed our weekly updates, our builds were never on time, and the game being a buggy disaster. Who could blame you for being upset? We felt the same way. Here is what we're going to do to change and fix all of these issues going forward. Our team has downsized to 3 key members: Ethan, Mitch, and Eliana. On initial inspection, fewer team members seems like a bad sign. However, it is very much the opposite. We all have a unified vision for FarmFolks, and we have overlapping skill sets that complement each other while having unique abilities that set us apart. Ethan is going to be taking on the role of blueprinting, technical art, general art, and game design implementation/decisions. Mitch will be managing the business end, creating art assets, aiding in game design/decisions, and level design. Eliana is doing music composition, sound design, creating art assets, level design, and aiding in game design decisions. Second, we are revamping and simplifying some of the underlying code, specifically converting as much as we can to blueprints. One big thing this opens up to us is that now any team member can look under the hood at what's going on and make modifications at any time. Another great benefit is because of the way blueprinting works in Unreal Engine, this will lead to significantly less crashing and instability. We will be able to iterate fast and efficiently. We can push updates on time for once. Now, it must be stated that because of this overhaul, it's going to take a little time to convert our systems over. In the long run, this will lead to faster game development, but it's going to take a little time to convert or revamp things. Our goal is simple and elegant design in all things FarmFolks. What this means, though, for our eventual next build of the game is that the farming will be much more comprehensive and fleshed out, which leads to our next topic. Third, we're going to focus on the core of FarmFolks, the farming mechanics. So, for some time, you will be restricted to the farm only, but ironically, there will be more to do than ever before, because of properly implemented and fleshed out mechanics. If spending time on your farm isn't fun, then we are doing it wrong. Even if for a short while you are limited to your farm, the game should not feel restrictive because of it. All of our focus will be on creating art for crops and the underlying systems that makes them function. Laser focused on one goal to completion. Fourth, we will be reworking the player character to a more appealing design with a minor change in an art style that will allow for much faster iteration. In addition, these key changes will make rigging and animating considerably easier. Fifth, Softshell is getting a redesign that is more fun to traverse and explore. Gone are the days of monotonous terrain and color schemes. If we're doing an open world, we must get it right. We know this is a lot of talk, but as you read this, Eliana is working away right now on our character redesign and the associated character customization outfits to go along with it. Mitch is cranking out more art for the game and has already made up some extra crops to harvest, including pumpkins. And Ethan has shored up our issues with time, weather, and animal systems. Animals flee from the rain and hide in their nearest barn until the storm passes, and pesky chickens will eat your crops if left unsupervised. Even though on the surface, news like this can look bad, but the three of us are powering away right now to fix this and keep the game moving forward. There are many things changing, and the future of FarmFolks feels bright. We as a team just need to make sure we all work as one unit and stay focused on our goals moving forward. We don't want to shy around any of these issues, because we really do care about all of you. We want to do our best to make this happen, and to get the project back to a stage where we can all proudly say, we made FarmFolks. As independent game developers, we are inevitably going to face issues, but we will work hard to overcome them. We have confronted these issues facing the project, and as a team, we're working hard right now to ensure FarmFolks has the future that it deserves. Thank you for your support. This project exists because of you, and we're looking forward to making it the best farming RPG out there. Ethan, Mitch, and Eliana. Heart. So, what do I think of this? Well, if you've watched my FarmFolks coverage for any length of time, you'll know that I like to be tough but fair. I'm not going to continue singing the games and the developers' praises when things aren't going well, but I'm also a huge fan of the idea behind this game, and I want to see it come to fruition, even if it has to be dragged through the mud to get there. It is nice to finally hear something, but as I've said before, I'm getting to the point where I'm tired of hearing things. I want to see things. And this is especially true after this update. We've been told so much about what the future of the game will look like in the past through Kickstarter updates, Discord posts, etc., but the game is clearly going to be taking a different direction now, which isn't necessarily a bad thing, and in my opinion is actually a good thing, but that means a lot of what we've been told previously doesn't really count for much anymore. Instead, it's going to be what actually happens that holds any weight, not what is said, at least for me. Keep in mind though, this is the first game Overgrown Studios is developing. Most of the people on the team have worked on games in the past, but as a team, this is the first game they've developed together. I say this not to excuse them from their shortcomings, but just to cut them a little slack. After all, it doesn't take a seasoned game dev to realize the importance of communication, especially when people are starting to ask if the game is dead and are requesting refunds. Thankfully, we finally heard something though, and I hope they've truly learned a lesson from this, because I don't know how many more times I can be told that they're working hard to be transparent. I guess only time will tell. To aid them in that transparency though, let's talk about the elephant in the room. The post mentioned that the team has been downsized. That's a nice way of saying some people got fired and some people quit. Both the programmer and the primary level designer and quest writer were let go, while the community manager and one of the developers who was volunteering their time to create 3D assets for the game stepped down. I don't want to linger on this though, or even get into why any of these changes happened. The fact of the matter is, they happened, and we're now looking at a development team of 3. Ethan, Eliana, and Mitch. Seeing as how we've clearly observed that communication is not Overgrown's strong suit, I'm hoping this smaller team size will make it easier for them to stay on the same page, which was apparently an issue in the past. Duties can be more clearly defined amongst team members, and taking into account they've never really had a dedicated project manager to coordinate the efforts of everyone on the team, I'm thinking and hoping this will be a beneficial change. It's just kind of sad it took people leaving the team, be it voluntary or involuntarily, to make that change. And speaking of change, let's talk about some of the other changes coming, other than the ones to the team itself. For those that skipped the update, here's some of the high points and my thoughts on them. Firstly, and arguably most importantly, they're finally going to focus on getting farming to a good place and making it fun. Or at least that's the goal. Not gonna lie, I've completely avoided the farming aspect while playing the game so far. Sure, I've played it a little bit to get footage for videos and stuff, but if I'm just casually playing the game, I don't even touch farming. It's just not fun for me. Which is something I'm happy they're working on, seeing as how the game is named FarmFolks, after all. Secondly, the main character is getting a much-needed facelift to hopefully remove most, if not all, of the derp. I never really had an issue with the original model, but the new character looks so much better already in my opinion, and even though she's just an untextured model, I'm really liking the direction she's heading in. Back in the day, the original plan was to have both a male and female playable character, and I can confirm that this is still the plan. I just wouldn't expect to see the male character for quite some time, so be patient. Third, and finally, the entire island of Softshell will also be receiving a makeover to make it more fun to navigate through and explore. I'm honestly not really sure why this was included in the update. I mean, the game is still in pre-alpha. Of course, things are going to get overhauled and hopefully become more fun to traverse and explore. Personally, I hope we see some more diversity between the areas to give them a more unique feel and to set FarmFolks apart as a whole from other farming sims. This screenshot right here is a perfect example of that, and definitely something I'd love to see in the game. I want to pose a rhetorical question now, though. The last paragraph of the update starts with, and I quote, "We don't want to shy around any of these issues." Well then here's my question. What would you call what you've been doing the past month and a half? I know I mentioned at the beginning of the video that I'd cover some unofficial news at the end, which is about now, but I've had a change of heart. I'm actually recording this portion of the video 2 days after I initially sat down to script and record that intro, which I was doing just a few hours after the update was posted. Emotions were high. I've had time to think and cool down a bit since then, and I'm glad I did because honestly, that update just frustrated me. When FarmFolks is released, I have no doubt in my mind that it's going to be an amazing game and do incredibly well, and it's probably something I'm going to sink an obscene number of hours into. The journey to get there, though, has been far more rough than I could have ever expected. It's been a complete roller coaster of emotions ranging from extreme hype to sheer disappointment and everywhere in between. As always, I remain optimistically hopeful for the future of FarmFolks, and I'm still excited to see what the team does next, despite everything that has happened. Could things have been handled better up until now? 100%. I don't think there's anyone that would disagree with that. But what matters most is what they do moving forwards. We've heard the "we're going to work on our communication" spiel for way too long, and nothing's really changed. But hopefully, with the changes to the design process, the core team, and a newly refocused vision for the game, I'm hoping this change can actually stick this time around. My fingers are crossed, and I wish the team all the best. Alright though, ladies and gentlemen, that brings us to the end of this video. That was a bit more ranty than my usual FarmFolks videos, but I hope you enjoyed all the same. I'm sure there will be more to talk about soon, and you know I'll be covering it, so I hope to see you there. Until then though, as always, take care.